Hi, I'm Katie Bray, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever struggled with manifesting? I'm sure you've heard of the law of attraction. Well, if you've had trouble, like a lot of people have, stay tuned because we have a special code for you at the end of this video. I've worked with thousands of people, and a question that I get so often is, why am I not able to manifest what I have been trying to manifest? I've used the vision boards, I've done this thing, I've done that thing, and I've got to tell you guys, the law of attraction has been treated like it's this just sort of like easy, airy-fairy, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo principle. Where the truth is there's so many different layers and so many different aspects to the law of attraction. And what I don't want to do is complicate things. There is still a simplicity to it. It's just that we have to understand that there's a lot of different levels, and it takes a certain level of, honestly, maturity and spiritual maturity to understand that there's all of these moving parts that we're working with. This is not that we need to click our heels and all of a sudden we're going to have everything that we want. Certainly, some things are easier to manifest than others, and there's a lot of reasons why that is. But what I want to share with, first and foremost, that I just don't see getting talked about enough is we focus so much on manifesting coming from visualization. And then, yes, some people, fortunately, are talking about beyond visualization, we need to be in the experience as if it's something that is already happening. Very important steps. So I'm not saying the things that we have been told are wrong. I just see that they are only part of the story. Guys, we manifest from our whole energy system. Do you just think about that for a minute? We manifest through our whole energy system. Now, our energy system has multiple layers, way beyond mind, body, and spirit, okay? We have different aspects of ourselves coming out of each individual chakra, okay? Our path of manifestation is actually one that comes in from our 7th chakra, really our 8th. That's a whole other show. But it comes in through our 7th chakra, and it's an energy that works its way down, and it has to make its way down through the entirety of our energy system. So it's not just as simple as visualizing and feeling, because what we start running into are, what are the different energy patterns that are being held within our chakra system? Those are things that we need to look at, because they can be the things that cause a resistance or cause a misalignment to what it is that we want to manifest. Now, I'm not saying that in any kind of punishing way. And this is why I say we need a certain level of spiritual maturity, because, we're here, these spirits in human form, and we're learning how to let go of some of our programming, how to work with our humanity and bring more of our soul's essence into our humanity. And that's essentially what is required of us when we are working with this idea of law of attraction and when we're looking to manifest things. So there's many different aspects of our energy system. And because we're attracting through that entire system, we've got to look at it from a much deeper, richer place. I can tell you though, I've heard some people say, well, the law of attraction doesn't exist. It's not a thing. It's a thing. We are always manifesting. That's what we do. We are never, ever not manifesting. I know that wasn't proper English. I'm just saying, we're always manifesting. It's just that we're not always intentionally manifesting, or we're not always consciously manifesting. What we do manifest is what it is we need to know and what we need reflecting back at us, because it is pointing us in the direction of our sacred work. So when we are not getting the things that we would like to receive in our life, if we're not living the life that we want to live, we are getting very valuable feedback. Not that we are broken, not that there's something wrong with us, not that we don't deserve, and not that we don't know how to work this law of attraction thing. What we're getting is information that is telling us where our deeper work lies. And so I'll tell you, one of the things that sort of complicates this is I've seen so many people not receive and manifest the things that they so deeply desire, to the point where it creates this certain level of shame. And that always makes me really sad, because we're not really supposed to be using our powers as spiritual beings against ourselves. It's not about making ourselves wrong in any way. It's more about being willing to understand ourselves at a deeper level, and oftentimes understanding ourselves at a subtle level. So many of us have done a lot of work on ourselves. We know our stories. We understand the patterns of our mind, the way our mind works. We understand our body to a certain degree. What we need to really start tuning into are the energetic aspects of our whole system, the energetic aspects of our story. And that includes our family story, our lineage. It includes, where is our attention at this moment? Are we in present time, or are we somewhere else? Are we fragmented with our energy and our attention? These are all really important aspects of this larger conversation around the law of attraction. And when we start to tune into these more subtle energies, and we understand ourselves in these kinds of ways, it can make this whole idea of law of attraction and manifesting a lot easier. And in some ways, it can make it really fun, because we allow it to be part of our spiritual growth. We allow it to be part of our unfoldment and our expansion. And that's actually what it is supposed to be. We are co-creators. First and foremost, we are co-creators. And so we come here to play in this co-creative space and looking at what it is that we're capable of. So I just want you to understand that there are some very, very deep levels to this conversation. So if you are feeling shame, I ask you to just tune in more to some of these subtle things. What's being reflected back at you? There's a lot of different places that we send our energy to, and often we don't realize it. And when we can sort of diagnose, when we can look at those things and we can diagnose what that actually means in real time in our lives, we're going to have a whole different experience, and we're going to add more life force energy to ourselves. That's the key thing. We manifest by way of our life force energy. So when we have a weaker life force energy, or we have a weaker electromagnetic field, it's really a lot harder for us to co-create the way that we want to co-create. So beyond understanding ourselves on these more subtle layers, or deeper spiritual truth kinds of ways, we need to be able to bring our energy into the here and now and really strengthen our electromagnetic field, strengthen our pranic body, so that we have the capacity, so that when we do our work, we have the capacity, we have the life force energy to manifest and to bring into our life what we want. And then we have the capacity to actually hold it. I imagine either this has happened to you, or of stories. We could probably go on and on about other people, especially in the headlines, where people will maybe have a windfall of success or a windfall of money, and the next thing you know, they lose it, or they're worse off than they were before they had it. Now, there's a lot of different reasons that can be, but what I can tell you is that it is almost always also because their electromagnetic field and their energy system was not strong enough to hold that level of success or hold that level of abundance, okay? So at the end of the day, our spiritual work and understanding ourselves and where our energy is and how our energy system is functioning is going to give us the most valuable feedback in terms of how and why we are not manifesting at the level that we want to be manifesting. It's one of the most powerful ways that we can understand how to turn that around and how to find our co-creative force and to use that to create the lives that we want to create. So I say all of this because, like I said, I've been working with people for years, and I've worked with thousands of people. And one of my favorite things to do, and what most of my work is based on, are the consistent patterns that I see that most of us struggle with at some point in our lives on some level. most of the time, these are the things that we come back to again and again. I love seeing the things that sort of make us all human and really point us in the direction of our spiritual work. There are so many different common things that we all deal with. Some people are more open about it than others, but I can tell you, after working over the years with as many people as I have, we all get stuck in the same areas. And so what I'd like to do, just to wrap this up a little bit, is to give you out of the 4 most common things that I see that happen for people that really slow down that manifestation process. The first one is presence. And I know a lot of people talk about presence and being here now, and of course that's really important. But at the same time, how easy is it for you to be present? And do you know really when you're present? Because when we talk about it in terms of our subtle energy and our subtle body, as I was talking about before, we don't always really have a sense of where our subtle energy is. So how do we do that? How do we call all of our energy into the here and now so that it can be at the highest level of potency? So that's really important. So that's number 1. Number 2 is all about the places where we experience resistance that actually isn't necessarily coming from us. Well, it's all coming from us, but I guess I mean originally. So what I mean by that is, I imagine you're familiar, especially with all the conversation around epigenetics right now, is that we are impacted by our lineage. We're impacted by family members from long ago, whether we knew them or not. Could be easily up to 7 generations ago. What I've seen on an energetic level is this pattern of energy that many of us will come into this life experience with that is deeply connected to our family lineage. And so if they had certain blocks, if they had certain traumas, if they had certain things happen to them, and we are carrying the essence of some of that energy, if we don't work through that energy, it's going to be a lot harder for us to manifest what it is that we want. And believe it or not, this is actually something that's very, very common. The good news is that it's not complicated to understand and it's not complicated to get to. It's just that you need to know about it so that you can actually work with it. So I want to offer 50% off on my course, the 4 things that slow down your manifestation process. You can use the code in the description, or you can click the link. It's it's probably one of my favorite courses that I've done, because it's one that actually changed my life. And I know that it's changed the lives of others doing this work. So there are 2 more common things that I see that I go in depth into all of these in the course. And there are lots of practical applications and activities, exercises that you can do so that you can start working through this stuff immediately. So don't forget to grab your coupon code or check the link below so that you can get 50% off the 4 things that slow down your manifestation process. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe. You can like it as well, and you can watch more of my videos right over here.